Good morning. Hey, it's Stacy. We are Loving My Veteran, and this is Walking in My Shoes. I'm back home this morning. Yay, that makes me all excited. So, I just want to say good morning to everyone. Give people a few seconds to kind of get here now that I'm at the right time and in the right time zone. It's been an eventful week, to say the least, across the board. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to say good morning and how much we really appreciate you, and how much we appreciate so much that's going on. Sorry, I've got like 16 notifications going on. Yay. This is just from Shauna that bring your coffee, come as you are. We're going to talk about this week's episode, and this is coffee and collaboration conversation. It is absolutely amazing. And they do it on Behind the Service podcast. And I'll put the Zoom link up in just a minute when we're done here. So it is absolutely amazing. Group of girls that women, men that are empowering. So I want to have that conversation too. So this week we've kind of talked about learning to like ourselves and learning to find ourselves. And I know that some of you said that it was hard trying to figure out who you are. And it is, it's very difficult trying to figure out who we are in the midst of all that's going on in this world. And sorry, and being the caregiver, spouse, partner, it's tough. And we don't always know who we are. And so when we talked about that earlier in the week, that you have to find you, and we've all gone through life being defined as being something else. First of all, in order to find us, we have to go through a period of forgiveness. And I'm not talking about forgiving other people. We have to forgive ourselves for our own mistakes that we've made. When we walk around with this baggage of mistakes that we've made, and these mistakes that we've done, and holding resentment and holding bitterness, that only clouds who we are. Um, some of you may or may not know all of my story, but this year, I got sick in January. It was hard for me. It's been tough. And was told a few weeks ago that this is a chronic, lifelong, and eventually terminal thing that I'm going to have to deal with. Is it going to stop me today? Absolutely not. I can get hit by a bus this afternoon. So, and those were the words of my doctor yesterday. So, it was kind of eye opening for me. And so, in the past few weeks, it started off the first time with a dream I had. And I know this is going to sound strange, but I actually forgave in my dream my first ex husband. He was an addict, he was abusive, he didn't know how to love. But in this dream, and it was so vivid, he has since passed on. I had a conversation with him in this dream, and I forgave him. Not only did I forgive him, I ended up being able to forgive myself. And that was a huge step. Yesterday, I've had for 14 years, prior to going to EMS in Chatham, I had an amazing boss, Mr. Bill Cheek, who owned Heartland EMS, and he was just amazing. He had a wonderful wife, Miss Vicky, and they were the kindest, sweetest people I've ever met in my entire life. And I left the company abruptly, probably not under the best circumstances. I wanted to pursue a career doing something a little different, well, in EMS, but doing something different with another company. And it wasn't the best terms that I left on. But it wasn't Bill that I was mad at. It was my circumstances around me that created so much anger. And so yesterday, on my way to Jacksonville, I sent Mr. Cheek an email and told him how sorry I was. He lost his amazing wife after 41 years, Ms. Vicky, how sorry I was for that loss, but I wanted him to know what an impact he had made in my life. And I asked him for his forgiveness. This man could have been so bitter and so angry towards me. He wasn't. The end of the email actually said, "Thank you for reminding me how important Vicky was to me. And this hasn't been easy. And reminding me that what I do is good, and I care, and I pray for you every day." That kind of forgiveness that I had to learn to forgive myself. Um, you know, there's so much in my life that I've done, and even words that I've used that are incorrect, that I had to forgive myself for. And I had to forgive others because that resentment. So when we go to find who we are, who are we? Who is Stacy? Yeah, I'm David and Seth's mom. I'm Linda's daughter. I'm blessed, and by the grace of God, Carl's other partner in life, soulmate. We are it. But at the core of it, I'm still me. And and that's been very hard for me to figure out. I've always been something else. But I realized when I started looking at who I was, there was a lot of me I didn't like. And when you're involved with other people and other situations, it is so easy at this point to go through here. It is so easy to be able to blame it on somebody else. I was mad at David Phillips. He ruined my life, according to my thoughts initially. Um, how could he choose drugs over me? How could he choose drugs over his children? How did he go all these years and never see his kid? How did he not be able to pay child support? How did he drop them off of insurance he never paid for? There was all this anger. And I carried that anger with me. And that anger started to build up this wall of bitterness in me. And so when I built up this wall of bitterness in me, I projected that bitterness to others. That bitterness that I created in me built a wall around me that didn't allow me to be the best me, and became a person I didn't know or like. So we have to learn to forgive ourselves. That's key in finding who we are. Because all of our past experiences, everything that's happened to us, we take forward and use in our current experience. Some are good, some are not so good. So in my past, I'm by nature a caring, caregiving, loving, take on way more than I can handle person. I'm the fixer, right? So when all these things started to happen medically for me, I knew Carl had PTSD. And so I didn't want to put more on him by dumping my issues on him. In my mind, it was my way to protect him. What it did, though, is it created this seed of doubt in his mind because I wasn't being completely honest. So there's this seed of doubt now that he has in his mind about me and us and our relationship. And I use the PTSD as a reason not to be completely how I feel today. And so when I did that, and when I created that moment for us, it created the seed of doubt. It was based on past experiences. Because in the past, if I dumped too much on somebody, they got angry, they got hurt. So then I got hurt because, oh, well, he's not sharing this time with me. I need you now more than ever, but you're not here. And this is a past relationship. And I built this wall up, but I never forgave myself for what happened in the past relationship to be able to go forward into this relationship. And we tend to sit here with PTSD, especially when they have PTSD, and we blur all these lines. So I'm not going to share with him today because it might trigger that PTSD moment. And I won't share with him because I'm going to protect him and I'm going to protect myself because I don't want to do this. And in reality, what we've done is we've planted that seed of doubt, or we've planted that moment of demasculation. And I use that, I don't mean that in a bad way. I know that there are people on here who have female spouses. So we create this sense of not, when I use demasculation, we take away from them. So we're taking that away from whoever our partner is, male or female. And we're slowly stripping these pieces off of them. But that all comes from our past and us not being able to forgive and move on from experiences that happened in our past. So what did it do? It put this seed of doubt in Carl's mind. Well, he has a past. He has past experiences. He has former baggage. He has stuff that he deals with. This seed of doubt, feel that fire. Then when I went forward and still made mistakes and did things in my mind that were correct or incorrect or whatever, it watered the seed. And so now I have, we have us in a relationship, right? Yes, he has PTSD, but because I couldn't forgive things that I'd done in the past and leave or forget things or forgive things that have been done to me in the past, I put this wall around and assumed that he was like everything in my past. We have the seed of doubt now that he had healed from his past, which is like a freaking fertilizer. I do something dumb, just in relationship dumb. We pour water on it, and now this seed is like this massive flipping tree that sits between us. So when you go to find you, it has to be about you, because if you can't be you, you can't become weak. And that's been a hard thing for me to understand. I had to learn to become the best me I can be. Does that mean I'm perfect? Absolutely not. Ask anybody who knows me, they'll tell you I am way far from perfect. But I had to become the best me I could become, and I had to find me. In the past year and a half, every title that defined me from the time I was born to right now has been stripped away. Everything, when it says, "Who are you?" and I start, writing down, they'll ask you these questions when you do seminars. Who are you? Well, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a paramedic, I'm so and so's daughter. I'm the primary breadwinner. I'm the one who does the laundry. I'm the one who cleans the house. I'm the one who does this. So I have this title now. This is who I am. It's not who I am. Those are chores. Do I clean the house? Yes. But other people know how to clean. I mean, in the real world, that didn't define me. Who I am, who Stacy is someone who's passionate. I have become a voice, not only a voice for veterans and how crappy I feel that the way they're treated, but I've become a voice for spouses to say, you know what, you're a cheerleader. You can do this. You've got this. We can do this. We're a community. That's what I've become. I realized in the past 2 weeks how, like I didn't already know, but really know now, how screwed up healthcare is and how many people are dealing without it. That's my voice. That's who I am. I am this voice. That's me. That's what I do. But it took a lot, and I still have a lot of forgiveness that I have to do. I still have a lot of forgiveness for my mistakes that I have to get rid of. I have to forgive myself. How can I forgive anybody else if I don't forgive me first? How can I forgive those moments if I don't forgive me first? How can I believe that things are going to be better if I don't make that change first? If I want better, the only person who's stopping me from having a better life is me. And I'm not talking about walking out of your marriage. I'm not talking about walking away from your children. I'm not talking about quitting your job. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about the only person who can fix me where I am right this moment is me. I can only fix me. Carl can't fix me. Carl loves me. He's beside me. He holds my hand and he walks in front of me and he pushes me when I need it and he holds me in check and he holds me accountable and he tells me to snap out of it. But when I want to do something, his words to me are, does it make you happy? He doesn't have to like it. And he'll tell you that. What he says to me is, does it make you happy? I get it now. I'm starting to understand it. I'm a little denser than most. I didn't say dumber, denser, thicker skull. But I had built up, I'm 54 years old. I had built up 54 years worth of walls that were slowly chiseling away. And when you chisel away and you're in this dark place that is surrounded by a wall, and you start slowly tapping away at it, this little ray of light comes in. And this light becomes more and more vivid. And this light becomes better every single day. And it helps me see that there is way more out there than bitter and anger. It was a tough pill to swallow because what it did, I had to sit here and look at me. Remember, we talked a couple days ago about getting naked and being who you are today, just like you came into this world. I had to put all of the other crap aside and start one at a time going through forgiveness. Yeah, but that was me. I have an amazing brother. He was 3 years younger than I am. We were incredibly close as kids. He is amazing. And for the last probably 30 years of my life, we have not been close. And the closeness that we don't have has caused me to have resentment towards my brother. My brother lived closer to my parents. So when my dad got sick, Trey was there. And every time I talked to my mom, it was, well, Trey's done this and Trey's done that. Well, I got so angry and built up all this resentment that I'll never add up to Trey, my brother. He lived just a few miles from my grandparents. And I can remember a storm came in and it wiped out so much. Their house got flooded. They were in their late 70s. All this is going on. And I live 7, 8 hours away. And I make a phone call and I'm like, hey, what do you need me to do? I'm on my way. And the answer I get is, we don't need another mouth or two to feed, so stay there. When the right thing to have done would have been to get in the car and start driving and say, hey, I'm an hour away. What do I need to pick up? Right. So all I've heard for years is how my brother and his friend cut trees to get in to make sure my Nan and Poppy were okay. And I grew this resentment that, oh, well, y'all think Trey is way better than I am. No, they didn't. Trey was there. I had to let go. My brother graduated from the Merchant Marine Academy. He went on to become an engineer at the shipyard. He's now vice president of the shipyard. I was so jealous of him. But he chose that path. I chose my path. I had to learn to let go of the anger and the resentment. My brother didn't do anything that I couldn't have done if I would have done the same thing. But now, for me to move forward in this relationship with my brother, I had to let go of resentment. I had to let go of anger. I had to let go of jealousy. That is me becoming the best me I can be. We talk some, not as much as some siblings do, where you're on the phone once or twice a day. I don't have that relationship yet, but I love my brother. And I sent him a text a few days ago and apologized to him for some of the mistakes I made in my life that affected him. I had to let go. I had to be the one to let go. Because you know what? It wasn't affecting him, it was affecting me. So as we develop ourselves and find who we are, we have to find who we are, but we have to let go of the baggage. We have to let go of the anger. We have to let go of the resentment. Are there days that your veteran makes you so mad you could scream? There are days that they make you so mad you could scream. There are days that you wonder, why am I? But if we don't let go of whatever happened the day before, it just adds up, it compounds, it gets worse. You guys are here because you love your veteran. That's the key. You're here because you love your veteran. We don't always like what's happening, but we're here because we love them. That alone is the reason to be here. Everything else, if that's your core, because you love him, everything else is doable. Everything else is fixable. Everything else is forgivable. You got to find you, because it's you that loves your veteran. You, veteran, two separate entities here. Together, you're we. But you still have to be you. he still has to be he or she, and you have to come together to become we. And there are times that we are together and doing something as we. But there are times where I have to be me and Carl has to be him. And if we can't get to that point, we're not going to get there. I didn't like me. I thought I did. Didn't like. I didn't like the person I had become. I didn't like the person I had allowed myself to become. I didn't like the bitterness. I didn't like the anger. I didn't like the jealousy. I didn't like the hatred I was developing. And not just for my veteran, because that was way after I had this big shit pile of stuff. That's what I had. Sorry, Michelle's just saying. I didn't like that. I didn't like the who I had become. If I don't like me, if I can't stand the me that I've become, how can I expect Carl to love me? How can you expect them to love you and like you if you don't like who you are? No, this is hard. It is self searching. Nobody wants to admit that we cause part of this. Nobody wants to admit, and I'm not saying you caused the PTSD. I'm not saying you caused the arguments. What I'm saying is you are a contributor to the overall feeling because you're tired, you're angry, you're exhausted, you have resentment, you're tired of being tread upon, you're tired of having to answer to other people, you're tired of having to answer to your boss. I think of Natalie, who we talked to yesterday in a pop up support group meeting, which we will now do 2 a week because that was an amazing afternoon. But I think about her telling me or telling us, sharing with us where she's at. She's married to a veteran. He's a police officer. They have 3 children. Two of them are from a previous relationship. So there's baby daddy involved in this as well. She works full time. She's going to college to get part of her core out of the way so that she can get into Kaiser's nursing program. The stress, the anger, the bitterness that she feels, the overwhelmingness that she feels. She's got a dad who doesn't go out and take precautions to COVID and certain things, and he's an at-risk patient. She knew when she was talking to him on the phone, he was having a heart attack and she couldn't get to him fast enough, and she dials 911 and nobody answers. What does she feel? She feels the anger, the overwhelmingness, the anxiety, the stuff. And she's like, I can't. But she's got to let this stuff go and like her and not bring all this stuff in. Because if she learns to like her and realize how amazing she is, our relationship's only going to get better. So we have to realize that our mistakes, they give us experience, but we don't have to carry them. We have to learn to like, we have to learn to forgive us. We have to learn to forgive our that we brought in and what we may have done wrong in a relationship or in a past or how we've spoken to our mom or our kids or our husband or anything else that we've done. And we've got to learn to forgive them and not carry it every day. We all make those mistakes. But finding yourself involves self forgiveness. And it's tough because you got to make the list of everything you've done that you need to forgive yourself for. Sorry, yeah, that was a little tough. We don't necessarily want to hear we make our own mistakes, but anyway, um, it's been a great day. We have so much more in store. Again, I will get this out right now. I will also get y'all the link to Behind the Service podcast. Get you, we have time. It starts in a little less than half an hour. Get you a fresh cup of coffee. Come sit with Shauna, Libby, Aaron. I'll be there obviously because I just adore these people. They're like my greatest support structure ever. We talk about everything, literally. Um, don't forget, Let's Talk is tomorrow night at 7. The links have all been changed and they are all correct now. I'll need to give a big shout out to my friend Alex, who we met through this. I'm really happy for you, Alex. She can share her story on one of the other venues, but I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad that your persistence is paying off. We are a great community. We uplift each other here. There are so many great communities out here where we can just gather around and uplift each other. Um, and again, please feel free to contact us anytime. There's so much more coming up. Cannot even begin to tell you how things are moving in our life and for the veteran community and what we're doing. It is becoming recognized. People are seeing that there's problems. They're seeing that our veterans have issues. They're seeing that their families are the left to the side to kind of fend for themselves. We don't want anybody left out. We are a community, a diverse, loving community, and that's where we want to be. Um, I'm Stacey. This has been Walking in My Shoes. We are loving my veteran. You matter. You care to us. I'll get this posted to the group page immediately, and I should have everything up on YouTube, including some new videos by the end of the day. Be blessed, and we will see you later. Bye.